Hey boos, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, my last video just received such an amazing response. I'm so happy that it resonated with a lot of you all and it just helped you guys out a lot. Like, I really love that. Before we move any forward, I'm sure you guys are going to ask what's on my lips. I have the Outline Velvet Teddy by MAC, and then this liquid lipstick is called the Beauty Shop Matte Lip Gloss. I don't know what's the name of it because it doesn't have any type of name here, but I can tell you I got it from Macy's. That's all I could really help you out with because they didn't put their name on their packaging. So now that we got that out the way, I really wasn't sure of the topic I was going to have for today's video, and I went on Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter. I just kind of like recently started my Twitter and I really want to get more engaged with you guys. My Twitter name is @NeneTanae. You'll see it here on the screen. That's all my social medias, but definitely follow me on Twitter. I noticed there's just a lot of people, even friends that I come in contact with, family members, who don't discuss how they feel or who is unaware of exactly how they feel. And I've always been a person who has always been in touch with my feelings. I need to tell how I feel because when I used to keep it to myself, I used to be like super angry and I didn't like that. But after like just talking with people and just going through life, you learn about your feelings when you're young. And learning how to express those feelings is very essential when you're a young person. What happens is when you don't learn how to be in tune with your emotions, you grow up and you learn how to not really express how you feel, or the way that you go about expressing your feelings could be unhealthy or explosive or harmful to oneself. A lot of people who self-harm, a lot of people who abuse substances, binge drinking or smoking or using other types of drugs, a lot of it is because they have these suppressed feelings where they're not able to talk about, or where they feel like people don't understand. And we could step away from substance abuse and self-harm, and this can go a lot with depression or just people who don't like talking about themselves at all. I talked to this one lady and she says, ever since I was young, my parent always told me a child is to be seen, not heard. And she said that being told that so much for so long, that started to resonate with me, and that's how I was as I gotten older. So it was always, I could be seen, just not heard. So then I would start acting out. I would start being the bully. I would do a lot of things that just showed who I am, but not really expressing who I am. And those behaviors landed her in a lot of trouble and just led her to a really dark spot in life. And I think a lot of us can relate where we've had a childhood where we just couldn't, you know, where nobody really wanted to listen to us, or, you know, saying how we felt was always ignored, and then we start to internalize those feelings. This is what I tell a lot of people. When we do not express ourselves, we first start to internalize. Once we internalize how we feel, we build up this emotion that nobody gets it, nobody understands, and you alone have to deal with what you're feeling. Well, what happens is at some point we blow up, and then all of these emotions we felt, we all end up expressing them in unhealthy ways, whether that's we freaking hurting ourselves, we punching walls, we cussing people out. There's so many ways that this internal emotion, once it builds up, it comes out in a way that you can't control. And then you end up apologizing, then you end up feeling sad in the end, then you end up feeling bad that you expressed yourself. And this is why I stress it is so important to express yourselves. It's so important to tap into your emotions and really say, hey, Sierra, how am I feeling? Hey, Ashley, what are you feeling? What's going on? What are you thinking? It is so important to get in tune with yourself, because it's not healthy to just walk around and feel like there's nobody to listen, there's nobody to talk to. Even when there are people, when we don't know how to express ourselves, we just tell ourselves that nobody's going to get it, nobody's going to get it. And then we end up dealing with our own shit by ourselves, and it becomes harder. We have this way of when one of our friends are going through shit, they're not in the best mood. It's like, hey, I'm really not myself these days. I'm trying to get it together. We give them their space. It's like, okay, you know, I understand. I'm going to let you. And I never understood why people gave people space when they were going through a tough time in their lives. For me personally, if I'm going through something, I don't want you to give me my space. I want somebody to come and check on me. And I want somebody to say, hey girl, I just checking on you. How's everything? How you feeling today? Is it something you want to talk about? What's on your mind? I'd rather someone be there for me instead of isolate me, because then I have to start dealing with shit myself. Nobody understands. Nobody gets it. Who am I going to talk to? So I encourage a lot of my friends, listen, if you have a friend that's going through something, check on them. Seriously. Call your friends. What's going on, girl? You okay? Haven't heard from you. I noticed that your behavior's changed. Check on your friends. Even if they know I'm good, I'm okay. You know, you might get that from someone who does not really know how to express themselves to people. But never forget, just don't ever stop being there. Like, don't ever stop. And even if you're that friend that's always calling and checking on people and nobody's checking on you, because I tend to be that friend. I will always call and hit you up and, hey girl, you okay? I saw you was going through this, or you seemed a little bit off. That's always me. And then when I go through it, it's like, damn, does anybody recognize? Does anybody see? I know I'm not myself, and I be looking for my friends to do that. But find somebody to talk to. Whether that's calling up your friend and say, girl, look, let me just talk and let me tell you how I feel because I'm just dealing with some shit. And you could let them know, I don't need your advice. I just need a listening ear. I sat with this guy one day and I asked him, I was asking, you know, what do you like to do in your free time? Like, what do you like to do? And this guy told me, I love being on the phone. And at first I'm thinking like scrolling through social media, So I said, well, what do you mean? And he says, I love being on the phone. He said, I don't have to be on the phone and I don't have to talk about anything. A lot of my friends just call me because I'm that person that we could spend hours on the phone and you could just talk. And he said, that's just something I love. And I thought that was so unique because you don't really find people, especially men, who express that I love just sitting on the phone. I love just listening to somebody and I ain't got shit to say. I don't really know what to tell you. I may have some advice, but I'll be here to listen to you because a lot of people need somebody to listen to. And I thought that was so freaking amazing, y'all. I was like, damn. If you are a person who can do that, be that to your friends. And then on the opposite end, the person, if you're dealing with some emotions and you just don't know how you feel and you suppressing a lot of shit and you just feel like nobody gets it, nobody understands, listen, you got to put yourself out there and call somebody you trust and say, listen, girl, if you got something to say, some advice to give, sure, but let me just express myself because this is how I'm feeling. And ultimately, when we start to speak our feelings, you don't know the power of your tongue. A lot of times when I start to really talk about how I feel, I start to encourage myself through my tongue and I don't even know it. As I start talking, it's like, go ahead, you got it, you got it. So sometimes you just need to hear yourself talk. When we start to express ourselves, we start to feel a little freaking better because now all that weight you had, you've relieved it. And I know some people talking just doesn't work. And it's like, I don't want to call nobody and talk. Get into journaling. I tried journaling and I journal every day. I won't even say I tried. I'm trying it. And I noticed that it's not the best for me, but because my hand doesn't move as fast as my thoughts. But I have to be realistic. It's never going to be that way. But the fact that I'm able to, this is how I'm feeling and I'm writing it on a paper, because then I go back to it the day before yesterday. Wow. This is where I was at. Wow, am I still feeling like this? A little bit. Let me talk about how today is different. Let me talk about how I feel today. You get into journaling, you get into talking. Another thing that I found that works very well for me, I told you guys I love to talk. I used to start recording myself. I'll take my phone and I'll set it up and put it on voice record. And I'll say, today I just I'm dealing with this. I really hate it. Like, it was the fact that I was just speaking it. Nobody was there, but instead of me bottling up everything, I was able to speak it. So these are some tips I want to help you guys. Like, record yourself, journal, call somebody and talk. Somebody else suggested to me, you write a letter and you just throw that bitch. Throw it somewhere. You could put it in the daggone trash can. You could throw it in the river. Whatever you want to do. But you have to express your feelings, and I encourage you. There's a lot of people out here who battle with depression, man, and that is such a scary thing. I have a very, very, very close family member who is severely depressed. I mean, diagnosed. And I watched this family member, and I just to see the transition. 1 minute you wake up and it's like, okay, the day is going good, and before you know it, it's just like, what am I here for? It's so sad to witness, but it's so freaking real. And that person just doesn't even know. When I ask, how you feeling? Why are you crying right now? The person can't even tell me why. I don't know. So how do you feel? I don't know. It's so scary to not know how you feel. And I know there's a lot of you guys out here who can't articulate how you feel. And that could just be because all your life you've just been put down. All your life you've never been able to express how you're feeling, or you've never had that person. So now when someone is trying to truly tap into you, you can't recognize it. Isn't that scary? I'm a stickler. Like, I really felt like I needed to put this video out because I see so many people who just don't know how to express themselves. So many people who resort to harmful ways. I talked to this girl and I said, why do you cut yourself? And she told me, she said, because so many people tell me I'm just not shit. And I feel like I'm not shit. She said, so to cut myself, I just do it because I just hate myself. And I said, well, why do you hate yourself? She said, I don't know. She said, I just don't know why I hate myself, but when I cut, it feels better. Wow. Isn't that scary? This is a person who really needs to be heard, because so many people tell her bad shit about herself. She internalized it. Now she's dealing with this badass feeling. She's only left to think that maybe this is what I am. So you know what? I'm a piece of shit. I hate myself. I'm worthless. And her just telling her these feelings, telling herself this is just validating her feelings and it's feeling better. Oh my gosh, how scary is that? How scary. Find somebody to talk to. Seriously. Be that friend that somebody can call and just listen as you listen and talk. Be that person, because your feelings are so important. The way we feel will determine our thoughts, which will ultimately determine our actions. Seriously, the way we feel will determine our thoughts, which will ultimately determine our actions. And it's so true. Y'all, this is a subject I really just needed to talk about. It was something that I really needed to just let out, and I wanted to address, and I hope that it really sits well with someone. If you didn't, if this doesn't even apply to you, I hope that you could take this and relate it to somebody else, or just be that friend that I was talking about, or reach out to that friend. I really hope that this can connect with someone and help someone. You guys know I love you so much, and if I can sit here and teach you and give you something new and make you feel better and to help you out throughout your life's journey, then I am so complete. So leave your comments, suggestions down below. How do you express your feelings? Do you write it? Do you record yourself? Will you start recording yourself? Will you start journaling? Will you start calling a friend? What will you do? What do you do? If you have any other topics or suggestions you think you want me to talk about, or you think I should talk about, please leave it down below. I really want to talk about what you guys want me to talk about. It's so hard trying to figure things out. God literally, like, mysteriously, he delivers me a message sometimes, and it's been working. But I really want to talk about something that you guys are interested in. So leave that down below. Anyways, I'm gone. I'm NeneTanae to all my new subbies. Hey boos. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, y'all.